If we can kick off with Ian Abrahams, please.
Hi, Mikel. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. First of all, can I ask you about the influence of Bukayo Saka, because he scored in the first leg, and just generally, people are saying that Bukayo Saka is now probably one of the most important players in Arsenal's team right now.
Well, certainly his form in recent months shows that he's a very important player for us. I think he's getting better and better. His performances levels have been really consistent, so probably makes him for sure one of the most important players in recent months.
Is it unusual for a young player for performance levels to be so consistent?
It is very unusual, but he's been doing a lot of unusual things. He's dealing with things at his age in a very unusual way, but that's why he's showing what he's showing, because his maturity is above his age, and his intelligence probably as well.
And last one from me, the tie level at 1, also technically you have an away goal, but how do you see it? Because you have no home advantage. You've got to travel 4 hours to go and play the game. I know it is what it is and the times we're living in, but how do you see this tie?
Well, I think it's different. The away goal is always important, but in this case, in this context, I don't think it's that relevant. We take the game, that is, everything is still to play for. It's the second half of the game, and we need to go there to try to win the game, because any other thing without the fans, without being in our stadium or anything, I think it makes the game very tricky.
Thanks, Mikel.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ian. We'll go to Ian Bolton from Sky.
Mikel, good morning.
Morning.
Look, just on that subject, you talk about fans. This week we've had the roadmap out of lockdown. I wonder how you view the prospect of there being some fans, perhaps, for the very end of the Premier League season.
To be fair, I cannot wait to have our fans back in the stadium. I think all the players and everybody at the club is desperate to have our fans back at the Emirates, because they make a huge difference, and for me personally as well, because the energy that they are able to create, the motivation that they create, the passion that they can show at the stadium for our players, I think is something that we've been really missing. And I said it before, to feel part of something that you are trying to do without sharing it with the people that really matters, it's very empty at the end. It's lacking a lot of the emotional parts that are the beauty of this game. So hopefully we can have them very, very soon.
Just tell us about your team use for this match. Is Thomas Partey back and available? And if he is, what does that mean? And what's the situation with Rob Holding?
Thomas is very close. He's got a final test today in training, and if he's feeling good, he will be available to play the match. And regarding Rob, he's not available. He had a concussion. We use that. He's completely fine, but obviously now we need to follow the protocols, and he won't be able to travel.
With a third of the season gone, is the Europa League the only route for Arsenal to qualify for the Champions League next season? Is the chance of a top 4 finish completely gone?
I think while mathematically everything is possible, in football you have to try so hard. And we're going to do that in the league for sure. But it's true that the Europa League gives you a completely different route. It's a competition that we want to carry on playing and obviously try to win it. And tomorrow is another opportunity to make a step forward. And the better we are in Europa League, the better we're going to be performing in the league, and vice versa. So we need to be alive in both competitions.
Mikel, thank you. Wish you well.
Thank you.
Safe journey.
Thanks, Ian. We'll go to Nick Callow from Haters.
Morning, Mikel. Can I just ask you a quick couple of questions about Hector Bellerin, please? He's made an incredible comeback from his injuries and so on. And I don't know if you've seen, he made a sort of video series about it. I don't know if you've seen that at all. In it, he says you've been like a big brother to him, certainly when he was coming through at Arsenal. Do you feel you have that sort of special relationship with him?
If you asked me that question a few years ago, probably I would say if he's the way he is nice, because we had a really strong relationship and I tried to help him as much as I possibly could. Now it's a different relationship, but obviously when you know the person and when you know the professional, it's easier to help them because you know how he feels, you know what he probably needs and how to get the best out of him. And it's true that this season has found much more consistency. He's been available in many more matches, and hopefully he forgot now the past 2 years when, due to injuries, he wasn't able to play much.
When you say the relationship changed, does that mean you can no longer be his friend because you're his manager?
Well, it's a very tricky one there because you cannot change your feelings towards somebody, you know, but then you have to be fair, you have to be really demanding as well, and it has to be a space that has to be shared and lived in a different way between a player and a manager, but that doesn't mean that your feelings are different towards the person.
And how would you assess his form too? Is his place under threat at all from Cedric?
Well, I think everybody has to compete with each other, and Cedric is done really well. We've got Callum now that has been training really well in the last 3 or 4 weeks as well, and looks completely ready to step in. So everybody has to play at their best level, and we're not going to have to rotate players as well with the amount of games that we have.
Okay. Is he going to be a starter for this match?
I don't know. I would decide the lineup probably tonight.
Okay. Cheers, Mikel. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nick. We'll go to Charles Watson, goal.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
Just on tomorrow night, given you're 11th in the league now and it's looking difficult perhaps, certainly for the top 4, potentially top 6, is this the biggest game of Arsenal's season tomorrow night?
Well, it's a big season and a really important one as well, mentally and confidence-wise, because it's going to dictate whether we are in another competition or not for a few more weeks. And this is really what we need. Really tough opponent. It's a Champions League team that they've been playing this type of games for many years with a manager with a huge experience. But for us tomorrow, it's a final.
Yeah, I mean, you went out at this stage last season, and given how the league has gone, for you personally, are you feeling pressure ahead of this game because the spotlight will ultimately come on you if you fail to get through this stage again?
I always feel that it is. Every time you are playing a competition and you can go out, you know the consequences. And with this club, it's always to win the competition that you are in. So that doesn't really change much.
Just quickly for me on Auber, obviously you had a great night against Leeds, but a couple of difficult games after that, especially in the first leg when he missed his chances. Jamie Redknapp was quite scathing of him after the game at the weekend, said he's past his best, he's lost his superpower and that he looks like he's going to get bullied. Do you think that was pretty harsh from Jamie in his assessment of Auber at the moment?
I don't know, I didn't see those comments. I heard about them. I'm here to support every single player in that squad, try to give him all the time the best possible advice, play them in their qualities, and when they have difficult moments, stay right behind them, and that's what we try to do always.
There'd be no better time for Auber to sort of shove those comments down people's throats by popping up with the important...
Yeah, I think it's the best way to talk is always on the pitch. And 7 days before when he scored the hat-trick, and he could have scored 4 or 5 against Leeds, he was again the main man. He could have scored a hat-trick against Benfica easily with his qualities, and it would have been different. But at the end, it's about putting that ball on the net for him, and that's how he gets judged.
Thanks, Mikel.
Thank you.
Thanks, Charles. We'll go to Simon Collins from the London Evening Standard.
Hi, Mikel. Just one from me. We spoke about the pressure being on this, but in your Arsenal career, you've had these games, you know, the FA Cup final, the Community Shield, the Chelsea game, games where it seemed everything's on the line and the pressure's high. Do you enjoy those games where everything is up for grabs and
this is why we are here? When you play this type of competition, this type of games, finals, this is the pressure that you want. Much better. It has to have the pressure to win, than the pressure not to lose. And I really enjoy the pressure of winning. And to be here and to represent this club, you have to be prepared to that. If not, you don't belong here.
Thanks, Mikel.
Thanks, Simon. We'll take a couple of questions if there's any Portuguese media. Is David Novo from a Record in Portugal there?
Yes. Good morning, Mikel. David Novo, Record Portugal. My question is, last year you showed the picture of Eusébio da Silva Ferreira at your office. You also said that a friend gave you a pair of boots of Eusébio. As you know, Eusébio is a Benfica legend. My question is, why do you admire Eusébio? When this admiration began, and also if you can tell me a little bit about the story of this photo and also of the boots that have been offered to you. Thank you.
Well, I've always been a big admirer of football history to understand a little bit why things have developed here and the people that has contributed in the game in a really strong way to have the beautiful game that we have today. And I think he was a big key participant of that, a player that created a massive admiration with a huge personality and charisma. And that this developed because I have had some very important Portuguese friends through my career that I've been really attached to, and that has created some links with some fans or some friends that they have come very close to mine. And when we were talking football all the time, sometimes when I've done something for them or to show some gratitude in our relationship, I've been given some present and I kept them really close to me.
Thanks, David. We'll now move to Nuno Parablas from Albola. Nuno, are you there? Oh, Nuno, I think you're on mute. If you could unmute. Yeah.
Yes, pardon. A very good morning to you, Mikel. Do you remember playing against Adel Taarabt as an Arsenal player? And what's your view on how his game developed?
Yeah, he used to play as a number 10 and super talent, a very creative player. He had a couple of really good seasons in the Premier League. It was hard to play against him because I played very close to him a few times. I thought he was a player with an enormous talent. He's changed a little bit his positioning, a little bit his discipline as well. Nice to see him back playing.
Thanks, Nuno. We'll go to Ines Santos.
Ines Santos, Bola na Rede. Hi, Mikel. In the first game, Benfica was a team that ended up deciding better in moments without the ball than with it, mainly because the good positioning of Benfica's backline, which was demonstrated, for instance, in 10 offsides assigned to Arsenal. Was this a factor that you took into account for the second game? If so, what solutions did you look to find? Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, they have a really aggressive back line. I don't know. We can expect a back three, a back four tomorrow. I don't know what they would try to do, but it's been a key principle in the way of playing. They managed that situations really well. We came offside in many occasions. Credit to them as well for how they deal with those situations. And regarding the game and what we expect, again, a really tough game. They are a really aggressive team that want to come at you, and I'm expecting them tomorrow to do the same.
Thanks, Ines. We'll now move to a 10:30 in